What's up, guys? So I want to go through this diagnosis that I just performed with you on a 2010 Corolla Matrix, where the customer states that they lost power steering and their ABS light came on. And that's not the tricky part. The tricky part is what I found. Let's get into it. So the car is already practically pulled apart for me to diagnose it because I've already diagnosed this, and this was something that I was diagnosing with my apprentice. So I didn't get the Meta Glasses view on this. So we're going to film it through the phone, and we're going to go through what I found and how I found it. So my apprentice called me over saying that he had lost communication to everything. There was no communication. He also noticed that the AC did not blow cold. That is another symptom of the problem. So after attempting to scan the vehicle, I realized we had no communication to any of the circuits on the CAN bus. This also gave me a perfect opportunity to break out the breakout box here. We hardly ever get to use the breakout box on our modern vehicles, but this is an old enough vehicle we're able to use it. So we plugged this in, and we found, as you can see here, we had communication on our CAN high side, but nothing on our CAN low. And just so we can confirm this, we are currently scoping our CAN high and low. Our CAN high does look kind of strange, but we do have a waveform, but we have nothing on our CAN low, which typically means it is shorted. So our next step is we're going to disconnect the battery, and we're going to confirm that it is shorted. All right, so we have our breakout box pinned in to our chassis ground, and we're going to check our CAN low. And what do we have? We have a shorted circuit. So this CAN low is actually shorted to ground currently. And by mistake, I checked CAN high first when I was testing, and this is what I found. So we have roughly 60 ohms because we have two good terminating resistors. Now, why are we getting a good CAN communication circuit from our ground and our CAN high? That is because our CAN low is actually shorted to ground. So as you can see, you pull this, you go here, we have the same reading, right? Now moving back on to our shorted circuit, we are now going to go into the wiring diagram, and we're going to see where these wires go and where they could be having a possible trouble area. So this is going to be our wiring diagram of our multiplex communication circuit for this vehicle. And we have a whole lot of modules with CAN low and CAN high all going to this one junction connector. So we're missing our CAN low at our DLC3, right? So that goes to this junction connector. So we're going to go to this junction connector, and we're going to check there. And this junction connector is located right behind here, behind the cluster panel. And that's going to be our junction connector right here, is this gray little junction block right here, little junction connector, and we're going to unplug it. Now with this disconnected, we'll be able to tell if this CAN low communication wire is actually grounded from this wire here down to the DLC3, or if it's grounded somewhere else at a different system. And with the junction connector disconnected, we can see that we have an open circuit and it's no longer grounded. So basically what that is telling me, somewhere in this junction connector where that CAN low is jumped to another circuit is grounded. So we're going to go through and we're going to back pin each one of these until we find the one that is grounded. And like I said before, I've already diagnosed this, so I know exactly which one it was, but I did go through it and pin each one of these, and these are all our CAN low wires right here that split off to different circuits. And right here, I lied, right here is going to be our shorted trouble area. Now this is pin 19. Let's move on. Let's see where pin 19 goes. In pin 19, right there on our junction connector, is going to be going to our steering sensor, which is located right down here in the column. It's going to be as simple as unplugging it and rechecking. And we are pinned back into 19, and look at there, we have an open circuit. And just like that, a simple steering angle sensor being internally shorted shut this whole system down. You see we now have CAN low communication, CAN high, and obviously our ground. And moving on to our waveform, we now have a good CAN high and low waveform. As you see, they are currently matching or mirroring each other. where versus before we had a very erratic high waveform and nothing on the low side. So that's going to be a diagnosis. We're going to need to replace the steering angle sensor and get this thing back on the road. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, share, and even a comment.